Hello guys, my name is Julian, your solar expert, and today I'm going to be answering one of the most commonly asked and most confused topics when going solar, and that is the solar tax credit. Now I am going to be giving a very brief overview of how it works, but the part that I'm going to be focusing on this video is for W-2 employees that get refunds back. A lot of these people, they do not believe that they will qualify for the solar tax credit because they're already receiving a refund. And so I want to clear up this confusion because a lot of people are basically choosing to just do a lease or a power purchase agreement, PPA, instead of just buying their system out because for whatever reason, they do not believe that they actually will qualify for the tax credit. In a lot of cases, if you can qualify for the tax credit or do not qualify, this will kind of give you an idea of if leasing solar or buying the system is going to end up being better. Now, pretty much if you're working, even if you're a W-2 employee receiving a refund at the end of the year, chances are you still will qualify for the tax credit. And here's what I mean. Okay, so let's say you make $75,000 a year in your job. And I'm gonna make up some tax numbers here, so just bear with me if it's not exactly accurate. It's just for the example, okay? So let's say at the end of the year, you are going to have paid $15,000 worth of taxes that have already been taken out of your paycheck, right? You get your paycheck and you can even see on there all the taxes and fees and everything that they took out, right? So your take home is already affected. So that tax amount that you've paid, of course, is tracked and added up over the course of the year. And if at the end of the year, the IRS essentially calculates that you've overpaid, they may give you a small refund. So to sum it up, let's say you paid $15,000, right, worth of taxes throughout the year. And at the end of the year, they calculated that you are gonna be $2,000 overpaid. And so they're gonna write you a refund check for $2,000. Perfect. Now, this is where a lot of people get confused. They think because they're getting a refund check, there's no more money for them to get federal tax credit for solar. This isn't true because it's not based upon the refund amount, it's based upon your total liability. And so you actually paid, in this case, $15,000 minus $2,000, and you're $13,000 in for the year. This is your tax liability that the tax credit will be applied against, which is amazing. So you could, in theory, if your tax credit was worth $13,000, it would have to be a pretty good size system, like 40,000 bucks or so, to get a $13,000 tax credit. But you could, in theory, have a $15,000 refund in this example. Now, if your tax credit is worth more than what you are, ultimately your liability is at the end of the year, like let's say you pay $8,000 and then you get a $2,000 refund, and so you're $6,000 in at the end of the year, right? Okay, great. Let's say you have a $10,000 tax credit. So you're gonna get your full $6,000 back on top of what your normal refund was, and then you still actually are gonna have $4,000 sitting in your IRS account. That's simply when next year rolls around and you're recalculating your taxes, you still have that $4,000 just sitting there that you can take the following year. I apologize about that static. After watching the video and editing it, I realized that I had to redo that the last 4 minutes, so I do apologize. Okay, so back to the video. So the reason why having until basically 2032 to take your tax credit is so valuable is because you cannot take more than the liability of what that you owe in total. So if you theoretically need a couple of years to take the tax credit, then that's fine. It's not a use it or lose it scenario where if you're unable to take all of it at your first tax season, you're missing out on the rest. It just stays in your IRS account until you have the liability to use it all the way through 2032. In 2033, the tax credit's going down to 26%, just a 4% step down, and then the following year it's going down another 4% to 22%. And so there's a lot of time to still take this tax credit, and between now and then it's literally like 10 more years. If you're 1099, it's way simpler. Basically, throughout the year, they pay you tax, without taking any taxes out. You have to self-calculate what you would be owing at the end of the year or the quarter, however you file, and then they will just basically subtract your tax credit amount off of what you would be owing in terms of your federal income tax liability. So it's way simpler. All right, so that was my super quick explanation of how the tax credit works if you are a 1099 or W-2. There's a lot more that goes into this in reality, so if you have more questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. My number is 760-473-5878. You can call or text me, or you can email me at juliansolarguide@gmail.com. Looking forward to helping you out, and I service about 30 states and have local experts all over. And so I am set up to be able to help you most likely with someone local that is truly an expert in your market. Looking forward to talking with you soon.